Well, Megan, thanks for joining us on the show on this Saturday night. I don't know what is it, midday there? I don't know.
It's early morning here, so that's why I look like an absolute state. I've rolled out of bed.
Oh, as if, mate, as if. It's, it's weird with the time differences, but
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
No, thank you for having me. I'm
uh,
always happy to speak to people, and especially an Aussie. I love an Aussie.
with our backwards accents that you know.
Love it.
Oh, well, you're very kind. You're very kind. But of course, the new Vexed album, Negative Energy, is out on June, not June, not July. What am I doing? See, this is what I think I need a beer. You know what? I just woke up. But June 23rd, and it's already in my top 10 of the year. It's such
Oh
a
wow, thank you.
phenomenal album. I've just been listening to it a lot. I'm lucky. I get it early. But
Hey.
man, it's very, very dark. And I think there's a few
Yes.
things on this album that really struck a nerve with me personally. And
Okay.
yeah, like I don't know, maybe it's my interpretation of it. I guess that's music, it's open to that. But
hmm
you know, are you hoping that people find their own connection with it?
Yeah, I think if anybody can take something that resonates with them on a personal level, then that's just always an added bonus to anything we write. But we're so in love with the album. It was
Mm.
such a therapeutic process and got us through some really, really dark times that we're just excited for it to be out and for people to kind of hear this new era of the band because we really feel like we found ourselves and our sound with this one. And yeah, that's really cool that you love it. So thank you.
I do, and it's very, very heavy. I
Yes,
think
yes.
and I think that you know it's has less of the melodic vocals on it, but when those
hmm
parts come in, it just hits so hard. Like, it just makes I don't know, it just makes it heavier. Was that the idea behind that?
Yeah, so I wanted to do more like heavy vocals on this album. We wanted to get heavier. I know a lot of bands with albums tend to get lighter, but I think we're probably gonna get heavier each time or just stay, as heavy as we currently are because that's what we love. We love heavy music. And yeah, I'd kind of gotten sick of doing the singing stuff, and we focused more on spoken word and shouting and screaming and
Yeah.
rapping, and it was just a lot more fun on a personal level for me. And then when I did do those clean parts, I enjoyed them so much more because they actually meant something and they were put there for a purpose and a reason, as opposed to just putting clean melodies in to try and please the general metal community. So yeah, it was definitely purposefully done. And it's just going to make my love for vocals even bigger. So because I'm finally doing stuff that I actually really want to do.
Did you find that you approached recording differently doing that? Like, was there a different process for you?
Yeah, I think it was more freeing, to be honest. Like with our previous album, I had to be very strict and regimented in every aspect because clean vocals I find are more difficult to get done.
Yeah.
Whereas because I was doing screams and I wanted it to come across as very emotional and big, I could just like let the little cracks come out in my voice, and um, I didn't have to worry about being so squeaky clean and polished and perfect. I could just let the emotion come out with the voice, and it made the process a lot more enjoyable. It took a lot of pressure off because I was just doing vocals that I not necessarily find easy, but that I find easier and that I enjoy. And I didn't have to be so overly critical of myself.
I find it easier to do the screaming thing than the
Yeah.
thing. Like I do a lot. Like it never used to be that way, but now I just I'm a death metal fan, so I just
Yeah,
focus on
yeah,
that. But the other boys do the singy parts now. So
yeah. No, I totally agree. It's there's something weird about it, isn't there? Like
Yeah.
I feel so vulnerable when I start doing cleans. I'm like, oh God, I have to hit every note perfectly. This has to sound good. And then when I'm doing my screams, I'm just like, hell yeah, I don't care if I sound like crap. I'm just shouting and I'm angry and it's great.
Go, yeah, yeah. They
Yeah.
are what's critical. But I couldn't imagine you ever not nailing those vocals because they are like the
Thank
melodic
you.
stuff is very, very, very good. So
Thank you so much. That's
yeah,
really nice of you.
no, I think you're one of the best in the game. So, and that's not me
Thank
just saying it.
shit.
Like, I honestly, that's one thing that drew me to the band was that,
Damn.
you
Thank
know,
you.
there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people that do this thing, but I think
Hmm.
you've got your own little style there, and it's good. It's really,
Damn.
yeah,
Thank you so much.
that's all
That's really
right.
cool.
That's all right. Just being honest, mate. And the track "Cross My Heart," little
Hmm.
single.
X my
X
yeah.
my yeah, yeah. And I hope to die
Yeah.
deals with death and I guess what happens after. And it's something that I
Hmm.
guess we all have to deal with. And it's something that I have
Hmm.
been, in my 43rd year in this planet, I think a lot more of these days, which is kind of weird to say, I guess. But, I guess with that, do you think it's leaning towards the religious side, but is there also other parts of it where, maybe reincarnation and things like that? There's a line in the song. Oh, what is it? If you ask me what I believe, in all honesty, it's constant process. And is that
Yeah.
referring to that?
Not particularly. What happened was I had a parent basically pass away,
I'm sorry.
and I was raised as Catholic. So we believe something very like this is exactly what happens when you die. But
Hmm.
I lost my faith and I left the church. And I started looking at just I just started critically thinking for myself and just looking at how man, as in human beings themselves, treat other people within religions. Because ultimately, none of us actually know what happens after you die. And I just wanted to be able to come to terms with that's okay. And I don't need to find the answer because no one human being should be able to tell you that this is the answer and you're wrong if you think anything else. And so I think faith and a lot of religions are incredibly beautiful and based on kindness and love. But when humans get involved and use it to make laws or hate on certain people or get loads of money and corrupt,
Yeah.
they use it for their own personal gain. That's what the song was about. It was about how I just couldn't be in that world anymore, knowing how corrupt people have made it. And yeah, I think the more I learn about all these sort of things, the more I'm like, wow, I was following so blindly, I had no idea. Um, and yeah, so I have my own beliefs now, and I don't need to put it to a church or a religion. And I think that's far more healthy, just accepting that none of us really know what happens, and that's totally okay.
I like that. I like that because I feel exactly the same way. I went through it when I was in my younger days. So
Oh, bless you.
yeah,
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 it's a weird thing. It's really weird.
yeah, and breaking free of that it's definitely it hits hard. I know.
Oh my God, yeah.
I definitely know.
Yeah,
Definitely know, mate. Breaking free of that. But with
yeah.
regards to the album cover, how does that tie in
Hmm.
with the themes of the album and the album title?
So when we were trying to come up with a design, I we were struggling for a while because I wanted to do 3D art because I love that sort of
Hmm.
vibe. I follow loads of Instagram graphic designers that do that sort of thing. So I wanted to do that, but trying to think of something that was relevant was a bit tricky. So I started looking up symbols of grief and grieving, and a dragonfly kept coming up. And what's like quite nice about it is the day that my grandparent died, a dragonfly landed on me and just sat on me for ages at the house. And it turns out that the dragonfly is a symbol of grief. And so I was like, wow, it should be a dragonfly. And so I started mocking up some terrible designs on like the Apple version of Paint on my phone. And yeah, I just decided that a dragonfly would represent the grief, and then the lollipop is representing carrying around that grief and that pain. And how to look at it, it looks like a really nice image and it looks sweet and it looks cute. But the reality is that not everything is always as nice as they appear.
Mm.
And you know, the dragonfly is carrying this around because it doesn't have a choice. It's stuck to that lollipop. It can't get off it. So it has to carry it around, which makes it become more frail and tired, or it rips its legs off, you know, to escape it. And
Wow.
that's the kind of deeper meaning behind it, is that, you know, things aren't always as they seem, aren't always as good as they seem. Tying into sort of like the whole process of grieving type message.
That's amazing, mate. And I think a lot of people are going to connect with this album in a lot of ways, as we were saying before. And so that's, you know, I appreciate you delving into that, because I know it's
No,
you know.
thank you. No, it's I think it's important to talk about, because no matter how painful of an experience it was, if I can in any way just even just know letting people know that they're not alone in what
Yeah.
they're going through, that's better than me just not talking about it at all.
Mate. I appreciate that. That's awesome. But you know, of course, you know, you've got Lochie from Alpha Wolf on here too.
Yes,
Aussie. Yeah, he's a good
Aussie.
dude.
We
Yeah.
just we just love the Aussies.
Dude, have you been here? I'm trying to think.
No, no, I haven't, which is tragic because I've got family out with you guys, and
Yeah.
we had CJ feature before. He's an
Yes.
Aussie. We've just got a thing for Aussies. So I feel like I have like a connection to Australia that I'm not even like, you know, aware of. I need to fulfill my Aussie life.
Is it because we're all the ones that you booted out from over there? You know, we're all the convicts that just got kicked on the boat, and we got shipped out here,
Oh,
and you're like, oh, I guess we feel sorry for them. You know, they're left out.
oh,
You know.
no, honestly, I think you guys are the UK equivalent, but you just happen to be on the other side of the world. Like we're so similar, and like I'll do some like interviews and I have to be really careful about what I say because people can get very offended because like I swear like a sailor. And like I'll drop the C bomb in as like a compliment to people and they don't quite grasp it and they'll be like, "Whoa, okay." And so
Well,
I've had I've had to learn to be very like careful with my words. However, when I'm talking to you guys, one of the best compliments we ever got was from an Australian bloke who said, "These C's F
say it.
hard." Oh
Yeah.
God. Okay, amazing. These cunts fuck hard. And I was just like,
There you go.
they get us. They get
Yeah.
us. This is amazing.
That is a really good compliment. That is one of the best you can get down here. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we say it so often. I've said it around bands from overseas, and they've just been like,
It's
"Oh,
weird, isn't
yeah,
it? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And Travis, he's a good cunt. That's a compliment. Like
yeah."
and yeah, so it's
Mad
yeah,
cunt is like
mad cunt.
mad. It's
Yeah.
like you're like, oh man, yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's a very endearing word.
Yeah, not to the rest of the world, but
No.
but how did you get Lochie on board? You mates with those guys?
We're just super fans, I think. We met up with them when they came to the UK recently on their headline tour. And we'd been talking a lot over social media because, like I said, I'm just a super fan of Alpha Wolf. I love what they do. And Lochie is just one of my favorite vocalists. I think he's very unique. And I think the guys are just really unique in that they're not douchebags. They're just lovely people
Mm,
that play sick music, which weirdly is just really difficult to come across nowadays. Most people are just dickheads that write great music. So the fact that they're lovely people as well is just, yeah, made me love them even more. And yeah, so we've kind of been chatting and sharing each other's music and just got, an internet friendship, I suppose. And then Jay, our guitarist, just asked Lochie one day if he'd be up for a feature, and we weren't expecting anything, but he was just like, "Hell yeah!" And we were like, "Oh shit, it's actually going to happen." So that was great. It was just an ask and see what happens, and
That's so
yeah,
good.
he was down for it.
So good. It sounds so good. You guys together. It's like so.
Thank you. Yeah, he nailed it. Like his gutturals at the end, it's just like, oh, it's just the cherry on top. The
I
top of
know
that. So good.
yeah, stank. It's real stank face in it.
Oh yeah,
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 love
yeah.
it.
Proper stank face.
Proper stank. That's got to be on a shirt. I think I'm gonna print that now. I'm gonna have proper stank on a shirt. Proper stank. Done. That's what
Proper stank.
But do you get hit up for vocal spots all the time? I mean, you know?
Sometimes I'm because I'm on Napalm Records, I have to
Yes.
get permission for features. And so that can be a bit tricky, but I do get asked and I would love to do it. I think once this album campaign is out of the way, you know, if anybody who has hit me up is still interested, I would love to do it because it just seems like so much fun. Like we always love having features, so I'd love to do it as well. But yeah, I don't get hit up much, to be honest. I've had a couple of asks, but it just didn't quite work out. But who knows? If this album goes well, I might get more.
Should. You should be everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully one day I'll get you on a track. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be sick.
You're like, who the hell are these guys? But what's this? But yeah, of course, you know, you've got a bunch of stuff coming up as well. You know, you got Tech Fest coming up next month, which is just fucking huge.
Oh yeah. We love those guys. They were like, it was Tech Fest was actually Vexed's first ever show because we had other shows planned before that, and like crazy stuff happened that just seems like you're making it up, but like the first show that we were supposed to play was a headline in London, and somebody died in the venue, and so we were like, they cancelled the event, and so we were like halfway through the night, and we were like, oh shit, because they died the night before or the week before, I can't remember, and it turned out that it was somebody very high up in the military, and so they thought he'd been poisoned, and it was like this whole like just the whole place got like swatted whilst the show was like going on. So that was like our first show that we didn't get to play, and it was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like the police just like swarmed the building, and yeah, so that was meant to be our first one.
Sounds
then
like
another
an
one got
episode of
cancelled.
NCIS.
Like, yeah, it was
like,
it was literally
mental.
just it was insane. And like, yeah, they were like, yeah, you can't take your equipment, this is all needs to go under investigation, and we were like, nah, that's coming home with us.
Yeah. Fuck that.
So yeah, Tech Fest turned out to be our first show, and it's the last time they're putting on the event for a while. So we're really happy that we got asked to come and play it and kind of like give them a swan song they deserve. Yeah, it feels very full circle, and we love that festival. We get very messy at that festival.
And you gotta. I see you got. Yeah, I mean, you guys over there get so many good festivals and stuff. I got mates
We're
over
lucky.
there, Europe and stuff now, and they're just like, you know, taking selfies and stuff, and we're like freezing our asses off down here seeing them. And it's like, man, like it just seems. Is it like that? Like every week, where I don't know where you are in the grand scheme of things in England. Where like what part?
North of London, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, but I mean, is it like a regular thing for you guys over there? Where you like open the paper, you're like, oh, there's 20 bands that I love playing this week. Is it regular?
I mean, if you like going to smaller, like sweaty, up close London shows, then yes, there's always a band playing. Festival wise, it's a bit more spread out, but we're jealous of like what you guys have over there and like American shows as well. I think you're always jealous of what you can't have. Like watching the Knotfest stuff out in Oz just looked, I've never felt more FOMO in my life. I was just like, oh, I'd love to be there so much.
It was
But then was it good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good game.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, but we just had download and that was really cool. So yeah, bit of both. Bit of both. There's always something on.
Have you got a big tour planned to knock out the rest of the year? Is that what's on the
That's
cards?
what's being planned. Can't announce anything yet. But yeah, we are planning. But we have got some headline shows that we will be announcing soon to kind of promote the album. So I'm really looking forward to that because that will be those like smaller venues where we can just play all the new stuff instead of just the singles. So that will be great. I can't wait to do them.
Australia?
Oh, I would die. I'd love to. Um, we keep being asked to, but we just need a big band to want us to support them out there. So we need somebody to like want to take us out enough that it's like doable, if that makes sense. So yeah, if any Australian bands are listening, Thy Art is Murder. Just let us know.
Marshy.
We'll
DJ.
We'll
If they watch
yeah.
this, yeah, hey, do it. Do it.
Yeah,
That would be
just
awesome. That'd be so sick.
we'll open for you for free. It's fine. Just we'll go.
We'll have the beers ready for you, but hey, that would be amazing. That would be a really, really cool tour. I mean,
That would be sick. Yeah.
I just want to see you guys live. You know.
Oh, thank you. We just want to play anywhere. Like if somebody's nan has got their basement free in Australia for a show, we're there. Like
Really?
we'll do anything. Seriously.
I will hold you to that because I have a living room.
Right.
I'll move the couches and I'll tell my kids to stand back and you can do that.
We can just tear up your living room.
Please do. That's all right.
I'd love to. Yeah, that'd be great.
So, come over. My wife might not be so happy about it, but I'm sure, we can work that out. But
that'd be great.
I don't know where I was going with that. But of course, I mean, what else do you, I mean, you know you can't tell about the dates, but what else have you got sort of planned in terms of dreams for the band and where you want to head? Obviously, America's is on the cards. Have you done that yet?
Mm-hmm. We haven't done that yet. And looking at our stats, it's America and Australia that is where like most of our listeners are. So it's something that we really, really want to do. And hopefully with like by next year, that is something we'll be doing because it is something that we're actively working towards and trying to figure out how to do without completely crippling ourselves. But yeah, we just want to play. It sounds cringe and it sounds like a bit weightless, but we just want to play anything anywhere. Because of like the pandemic and experiencing our first album behind closed doors, we're just desperate to play shows. And so luckily we have a team that are like, you have to think logically, you have to be strategic, you have to be careful about what you do, otherwise you're just going to burn yourselves out or you're going to end up completely broke and not able to do anything, which to be honest we'd be fine with. We're okay with that. But yeah, that is something that we really want to do. We want to come out to America, Australia, anywhere across Europe. And it's just about finding that right tour and that right band that will take us out with them. And again, like you wouldn't think it was that much of a backlog, but there still is a huge backlog from COVID. And so all the booking agents and all the bigger bands obviously will take priority. And so we're just waiting for those scraps to fall off the table and we can just be like, let's go.
It's hard. It is really hard, even for local stuff down here, because everything is so backed up. You're like, hey, can we book a show? And they're like, no, fuck off. We're full. You're like, okay, all right.
You can in 2030.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You're like, we'll just put you down for, a Saturday during the day. Like,
yeah, exactly. I know it is really difficult. So we just have to wait for that opening and then jump on it.
Yep, that's it. But in the meantime, I really hope that you do get the chance to come down here with a kick-ass band and play my
Thank you.
living
Yeah, that'd be
room.
great.
And
Yes.
no, 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 not my living room. But some, maybe a big festival or something.
That
Just
would be
put it
great.
out there to the universe.
Yes.
You know,
Somebody.
yeah, do it. But mate, it's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you on the show tonight. And mate, we will have all the links down here and on the website to Negative Energy, which is out this week on June 23rd. I said the date right this time. Mate, thank you so much. And
No, thank you.
hope it all goes well.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, hope people enjoy Negative Energy.